Today, I would like to do a presentation, a full presentation of Time Zero Professional. Okay, Time Zero Professional 4.2. I am admitting people at the same time. Okay, Time Zero Professional 4.2. Um, so the purpose of the meeting is to present you all the feature, all the key features that has made Time Zero a success in Europe and in the US. And the idea, of course, is to replicate this success in Asia. So we would like to see you what has made Time Zero successful in those markets. First of all, I would like to focus on the fact that Time Zero is an easy software to use. Okay, we know, and you told us that Fisherman has a low level of education in general, and we designed the user interface to be as easy as possible and as intuitive as possible. And I would like to present you very quickly how the user interface has been designed. So I would say that a Time Zero user interface is divided in three main parts. On the left side of the software, you'll find a toolbar here, okay? And when I put my mouse on these icons, I can see the name that appears and I can see what are the tools available on my toolbar. These tools will allow me to create a mark, for example, or create a boundary on the chart, or a route, or zoom in, zoom out. So I have a lot of small tools that are always available on this toolbar that allow me very easily to find the tools to interact with the software. This toolbar is fully customizable. There is a button here, yes, a button at the bottom here that is called Configure Tools. And when I click on that button, I can add new tools or delete tools that are not interesting for my daily use. For example, if I want to take out this tool that is called Select, I can just remove it from my toolbar. The tool is here at the bottom, you can see it. And when I close that window, you see that the tool has disappeared. So fully customizable toolbar. On the top of the software, you'll find a ribbon, what we call a ribbon. This ribbon here will allow the user to add layer of information on top of the chart. Okay, so you can see here on my chart, I have some very nice high resolution satellite photos, but you can very easily remove that photo by just hiding and clicking on the button. And this way you can add many type of layer, weather layer, radar overlay, tides, currents. So basically using this ribbon, you will be able to add or hide a layer of data on top of the chart. Again, this is also fully customizable. There is a button here that allow you to remove or add specific layers. On the right side of the system, we'll find the nav data. Okay, so all the data received from the sensors. All right, so you connect Time Zero to some sensors and you will be able to receive live information on this nav data sidebar that is divided in three parts. Navigation, so all the data relative to the navigation, so GPS information, um, SCOG, SOG, CPA, TCPA, you will be able to receive them here. And you can, again, fully customize that nav data sidebar by adding new information. By clicking on this plus button, you will be able to add other type of information. Okay. The second part is the planning nav data. So here mainly it will be information, weather information. Okay, so we will see that later you have the possibility to download weather data in Time Zero, and you will be able to display the data in that nav data sidebar as well. And then the radar nav data. So here you will be able to see the settings of your radar and control it directly from Time Zero. So I would say that this is basically how Time Zero is designed. On the very top of the system, we have some workspaces, what we call workspaces. You can see here, it's like different tabs. Okay, so now what I'm showing is the navigation tab. Okay, and these workspaces are independent area of work where you can focus on a specific sensor or a specific action. For example, you can, if you have a Sounder connected, go to the Sounder workspace and independently from the navigation workspace, you will be able to work on that Sounder. Uh, we have different type of workspace, and I will go through them later in the demo. The same way, if you have a radar connected, you can go to the radar workspace. Camera, you can go to the camera workspace. But again, I will see that a little bit later. So this is basically for the user interface. How is it designed? You can see that it's very fairly intuitive. Then TimeZero is a very powerful chart engine. Okay, so it's an electronic chart system. All right, so we use different type of chart in TimeZero. And when I go to the ribbon here and select the chart icon, I can see all the charts that are compatible with the software. And we are compatible with CMAP chart, CMAP data, but MM3D format, Navionics data. We have some raster chart as well. We have some fishing chart. We have S57, and we also have ENC charts compatibility. So S63 charts are compatible with TimeZero. So we use different type of chart, and I can very easily switch from Navionics chart to CMAP or raster chart. Okay, and you see everything is pretty fast and smooth when I change my chart, and I can also use an automatic mode. Okay, so here auto, and this automatic mode will automatically select the chart that has the most updated and best information on screen. On top of that, like I told you, you can add some satellite photo. And I don't know if you had the opportunity to install and play with your demo license already, but we use a very powerful chart engine. When I zoom in, I zoom out. I don't know if you can see it well through Zoom, but there is no lag when I zoom in, zoom out. There is no redraw time. TimeZero is very powerful in that. And basically, this is why it's called TimeZero. It needs zero time to zoom in and zoom out, either in 2D or in 3D. Okay, so this is also one of the key factor of TimeZero success around the world is powerful chart engine. Allow me to go back to the 2D mode now. On top of the chart, like I told you, you can add layer of information. And TimeZero comes with worldwide database of tidal stations and tidal currents. Okay, so when you purchase TimeZero, you have this database of tidal station and tidal current loaded. And here, if I click here, I can have full information of this tidal station. So I can plan my trip with this data. You don't need to have any type of internet connection to load this information. It's fully loaded with TimeZero. Okay, so you find the station everywhere on the chart. So this is for the tidal station, and you have some currents as well. Again, it's loaded with the system. You can double click here and find information about particular currents. Of course, if you have any question during the demo, you can stop me, okay? You can ask me anything, just unmute yourself and ask me any question, or if you need more precision on something that I'm telling you, okay? So yeah, tides and currents. Then I would like to talk about something that is very important to fishermen, because again, this demo, this presentation is to try to sell TimeZero Professional to fishermen in Asia. And I think what has made the success of TZ Professional is how easy it is to handle database data in TimeZero. Okay, fishermen, the most important thing to them is their data when you speak to the fishermen. So, and TimeZero makes it very easy to manage the data. And I would like to introduce two simple concepts. The concept of layer management in TimeZero and the concept of filter management in TimeZero. So allow me to do a small demo to you to introduce those two concepts. First of all, if you are a user that purchased TimeZero for the first time and start from scratch, you don't have any data or you don't have any database or anything, you just purchase TimeZero for the first time, and you will start to create your database. Okay, so you will use the toolbar here to create some mark. Let's say you go on a nice fishing trip. Okay, so you probably change the color here. You go on a nice fishing trip. Okay, you have some good results. You want to put a mark to make sure to be able to find that place again. So you will create a mark. Okay, and you can change the symbol of that mark. So if it's a very good day, maybe you will put more fish on the symbol, and you will make it easy to understand visually by putting it in green. So these two marks here, they are by default, they are stored and saved into a layer, okay, that is called a TimeZero layer. Okay, a layer is like a folder where all the data will be saved. But you can assign a layer, a specific layer that is not TimeZero, okay, and you can actually create a new layer. All right, and I will maybe call that layer good fishing. And you can say, okay, I want to save specific data in that good fishing layer. All right, so if I put now the mouse on this mark, you will see that this mark is now on the good fishing layer. But this second one is still on the TimeZero layer. Okay, it's not on the good fishing layer. So I can also manually, okay, go right click and assign to good fishing layer. And you see that now I have two layers, actually, two folders, TimeZero and good fishing. And for the purpose of the demo, I will actually create another layer. So I will go here to the Manage Layer button. You see that I have two layers, TimeZero good fishing, and I will create a third layer that I will call bad fishing. Okay. I will create other marks. All right. Let's say I go to a fishing trip and the results are not good. So I will create marks and I will put them in red, again, so it's easy to understand that it's not a good fishing day. I will create a bunch of marks. These marks here, they are automatically on the bad fishing layer because this is the latest layer that I've created. So the latest layer that I've created is the active layer. It means that the data is automatically saved into that layer. But I can also, assign a different layer, and put it in TimeZero or in good fishing. But let's leave them in the bad fishing layer. Why am I doing all that? It's because by doing this like this, by saving these marks into different layers, I will have the possibility to hide or remove data from my screen. Okay, so here I have a visible object button. I can make visible all my layers, so TimeZero, good fishing, bad fishing. I can ask the software to hide everything. Okay, I don't want to see anything on the chart. So I select the none button. Or I can say, okay, I only want to display now my good fishing layer. And you can see that only marks that are on that specific layer are visible on TimeZero. And you can see very easily, I can also only make visible the bad fishing layer. So it's a very simple concept, okay, but it's very powerful to fishermen because it's make it easy for them to save their data, store the data, and find the good spots or the bad spots on their chart. Okay, this is the layer concept. Now I would like to talk to you about another concept that is pretty powerful, is the filter concept. And to do that, I would like to import a database from a fisherman, okay? Because you have fishermen that start from scratch, but you have also people that buy TimeZero, buy an upgrade of the software and have an older TimeZero software and want to import the database that is very big, or import database from competitor software and import it in TimeZero. And we have a way to very easily also handle this database using the filter buttons. So allow me to import data, okay? Here I have a database available. I open it. I click on next. Okay, it will take some few seconds to uh, analyze the database and see if there is any um, points that are duplicated, see if the database is corrupted, and after a couple of seconds, TimeZero will allow me then to import the database. So I can see that automatically TimeZero clean a little bit my database because there were 96 duplicate objects on the database. So they automatically TimeZero decided to not import these duplicate objects. But it's telling me that TimeZero found 34,000 marks, 1,800 annotation, boundaries, circled, tracks. And you can see that I can also, when I import, I can choose to select what data I would like to import. Do I want to import everything or only maybe the marks? Okay, so you can do that job very easily when doing the import process. Now that you are happy with your database that you would like to import, click on next. And again, TimeZero here will take a couple of seconds to import the database. So import completed, finish. And you see that here I'm in Spain, actually close to Barcelona. And this is a database from a fisherman. You can see that I have a lot of different type of objects, marks, tracks, circles, boundaries. And actually, it's a small database, most fishermen, they have databases that are huge, and sometimes it can be very complicated to filter data across this database. And here, actually, if I look at the database more carefully, I see that I imported different layers. So this fisherman already, saved his data into 4 different layers. Marks, tracks, recs has been layers have been created. But what I would like to do now is I want to filter data across all these databases very easily. And we have a very nice tool that is called filter. So I will manage filter. And actually I will create a new filter to show you how it's easy to, find information on the database. So I will create a new one. And for the purpose of the demo, let's say I would like to find all the objects that are in green, okay, on my database. So I will create a filter that is called green. Here I have few parameters, okay, that will allow me to create my filter. What I would like to do is to only find the green information. So I will not select any type of object, okay? I want to select all the objects in green, so I will not touch this button. But here in the color, okay, I will select the green color, okay? Here the layer, I don't want to select any specific layer. I want to filter data across all the layers that I have, and I do not want to filter by date. I close it. So now I have created a filter that is called green. And basically, if I click on this green filter now, you will see that very easily and very powerfully, TimeZero only is now displaying the green data on my database. Okay, so that's a very, very powerful concept. I can actually show you another nice filter that you can do. You can filter data by date. And this is also very powerful for fishermen to be able to say, okay, I only want to display data from a specific year, for example. So again, I will create very quickly a new filter. So allow me to delete this one and create a new filter that I will call maybe 2018. Let's say that I want to filter only the data from the year 2018. So again, here, I don't want to touch any type of object. Okay, I don't want to filter by object. I don't want to filter by color either. I don't want to filter by layer, but I want to filter by date. All right, so I go here, and here I will be able to select a range. So I want to filter the year 2018. So I go to January here, beginning of January, and here I will go to the end of December. Now I have created my filter. I close it. You see that here I have a new filter created that is called 2018. And when I click on that filter, it will only display data from the year 2018. So again, that's a very easy and powerful concept that use the fishermen to easily manage their database. I hope that it is clear so far. If you have any question, again, you can stop me. No question?
Excuse me, I have one question.
Sure.
To make a mark, is there any shortcut key or something by PC?
To create a mark, you mean?
Mark or yeah, position or something like that.
So that was actually my next my next subject, the
Ah,
shortcuts. Okay.
I see.
So I will actually show you something that is pretty nice as well. But just before that, I would like to show you another shortcut that is kind of powerful for the fisherman is the event shortcut. Okay. So fishermen, they like to use these events to create events. Where is it here? When they start a fishing trip or when they put out the net, they would like to easily be able to add an event on the chart and see very easily when they started a fishing trip, for example. So we have created a very easy event nav data. And again, I'm doing this a little bit quickly, but if you're looking for nav data information, you go to the nav data sidebar, click on the plus button, and here you have a lot of different um, nav data that you can add and that you can play with. And here I'm selecting the event nav data to show you a little bit how it is easy for them to create events on the chart. You actually have a button here that will allow you to configure your events. Okay, so basically the events, how they work is event number one, you can touch the keyboard number one and it will add the event number one on the chart. But you can configure the mark, you can configure the color, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. And here when you want to create an event, you can very easily click on this event button. So here, because I have the filter, I cannot see it, but now I take out the filter. Click here on the events and it will automatically add, marks, events on your chart. So this is one, I would say, one shortcuts, a first type of shortcuts, okay, to create events. And you understand the concept, huh? You can add very easily the events on the chart. But there is another button that is pretty powerful, is the quick access button. And this is very nice also for the fishermen and allow you to present this button. The quick access button is a shortcut button that basically you can configure with any type of action in the software. And by just clicking on this button, it will perform the action. So again, you can configure that quick access button. And here, what I would like to configure to show you a little bit some use cases for fishermen is I would like to maybe when I start a fishing trip or when I put out the net, maybe I want to put the track on my vessel to see exactly where I've been fishing. And maybe I want to create an event automatically. And I can link any action. So I have a list of a lot of actions available here on my button. But what I would like to do is maybe I would like to center on the chart on the vessel. Okay, so I will add that action to my button. Okay, maybe I would like to put the track on. So here I can select track on or track off, but here I want to put the track on. And maybe I want to assign an event, a number to that button. So event number one. So I click on add. I can configure that button with a specific color. I can put a name to the button. So maybe here I will put start. Okay. So I've created a start button and allow me to create another button to make it easy for you to understand this. I will create a stop button, okay, because you can configure multiple buttons at the same time. So I will do again a quick access. I configure it, center on the vessel. Here I select the track, and instead of selecting track on, I will select track off. And maybe I will put an event, a different event. Okay, so number 2. Here, center on add. I will select another color, maybe red, and I will call this button stop. Okay, so now you have a start and stop button that has been configured. Okay, so you have seen how I configure the button. So let's say that now I am here and I'm starting the trip. I can just click on start, and you see that automatically time 0 center the chart on the vessel. Okay, automatically created an event. Okay, added an event on the chart and put the vessel on track. Okay, so this is pretty powerful because with one shortcut, I'm actually doing 3 actions at the same time. Center on, create an event, and start tracking. And then when I click on the stop button here, you see that I have created another event that is red, and the track, the time 0 is not tracking. Uh, So I have here my full track when I started the trip and when the trip was finished. So this is a pretty powerful shortcut button. And basically, to reply to your question, you can link, to this quick access, to this shortcut, any type of action. Okay, play with the radar, download a weather file, anything that is available on this NavData quick access button.
Thank you.
So this is something that is really, really nice for the fishermen. And again, we try to make it easy for them to use. And our distributor, our good distributor, when they commission the system, they usually talk to the fishermen, and they help them to create those type of shortcut to make it very easy for them. Start and stop button, everybody can understand that. So it's easy. All right. Okay, so I'm done with this chapter. Okay, I would like to talk now about a very important chapter that is called the PBG. Okay, PBG is one of the important factors that has made time 0 a successful system among the fishermen. So the PBG stands for Personal Bathymetric Generator. Okay, basically the concept is you connect an echosounder to time 0. Time 0 receive the depth information from that echosounder. It can be either single beam echosounder like DFF1, BBDS1, FCV 1150, or it can be a multi-beam echosounder like DFF3D or WASP. And time 0, what it will do is will automatically record the data received from the sounder and create a bathymetric database for the user. And this is very nice. I would like to show you here a database I have from a fisherman in actually close to Maxi headquarters, close to Bayonne and Biarritz. You see these red points, they are all depth points recorded by time 0. Basically, this is years of data collected by this fisherman, and you see that he has been pretty much everywhere on this area. He has been fishing everywhere, and all the time he had his time 0 connected to the sounder, and his PBG was recording. And basically, you see all these points here are depth point recorded by the software. So it is a lot. All right. And basically, if I take off the PBG points now and I show you the depth shading and the database that has been created by this fisherman, you will see here, I don't know if you can see it well, this is his bathymetric database that has been recorded with its sounder. And you see how the resolution is pretty amazing. Okay, so it has been pretty much everywhere. It has recorded every spot, and you see how he has created a very nice bottom chart. And basically, I would like to show you the difference between the chart, the 3D chart that comes with TimeZero as standard. You know, when you purchase the software, TimeZero already comes with a 3D bottom chart. And it's basically, if I take off the database from the user, you will see what is the TimeZero standard 3D chart. It's not a bad chart. You have some information about rocks, about bottom information. Okay, so you have some information, but you see the resolution is not great. Okay, it's not perfectly tuned and fine. It's good, but it's not perfect. So by creating your own PBG database, and here again, I will import the database from this fisherman. You can see the difference between standard chart database and user database using the PBG. Okay. This one has been recorded with, I think, a single beam, not multi-beam. Okay, so basically it's one depth point recording per second. And this is extremely important for fishermen that fish at the bottom to know exactly where are the rocks, to not damage the net or not damage the doors if they do some trolling. So it's very important to have the PBG here. And you can see that database in 2D or even in 3D. Okay, and this looks absolutely incredible. We have actually, because here I'm in the navigation workspace, you remember the concept of workspaces, we have actually created a specific workspace dedicated to this PBG. And this workspace will allow you actually to work on your PBG database very easily. Okay, so in the fishing workspace, okay, you can see that I have several icons, several buttons here on the right side, and these will allow me to parameter my database the way I would like to see it. And the first parameter I would like to talk to you about is the color scale, because color scale is important. So here I'm using the automatic color scale. It means that TimeZero is showing me, is telling me that on the screen now, I have information from 0 to 77.8 meter depth. If I zoom out, I see that automatically my minimum and maximum value adjust to the screen. So here it's not 77.8, but 122 meter. Again, if I zoom out, you see TimeZero automatically adjust the minimum and maximum value of the sliders. Okay, and this affects how it looks in terms of colors. Okay, so you have to make sure that when you zoom in, zoom out, you are happy with how the data looks in terms of depth shading. Okay, and here the shading, the colors, okay, go from red to blue, and you see I have 20 meter, 30 meter, 40 meter, up to 60 meter that is showed here. I have other type of scale. This is the automatic, but I also have a manual scale. Okay, the manual scale is nice because it allows you to adjust the minimum and maximum value that you would like to see. Let's say that you don't care about 15 meter. Okay, you can adjust your value. You can say, okay, I want to put a minimum value of 22 meter and maybe a maximum value of 78. Okay, you click on OK, and now you have put your min and max, and you see that when I zoom out, this value doesn't change. Okay, so what I see in color on my TimeZero now, me to just take off some data. Yes, when I zoom out, okay, you see that I'm only displaying data between 22 and 58 meters. But I will zoom in again on my nice database. Here you see that some color disappeared here when I put 22. So I would like to adjust it a little bit. So everything is covered with nice coloring, nice depth shading. When I'm happy with this, okay, the nice thing about TimeZero is that you can record the preset. So when you are happy about your minimum and maximum value and the color, you can go to presets here, manage preset, and you can record the current preset. So here, I'm happy about my depth shading. I click on OK. All right, I close. Let's say for some reason you somebody touched your settings or you play with the settings and you want to find again the nice setting that you had. You can always go back to your preset and you see that I have a depth shading preset. And when I click on it, TimeZero will automatically go back to my recorded 15 to 60 meter preset. So that's the manual scale. All right. And then you have a third scale that is called discrete. Okay. Discrete is basically a scale that you can create by yourself. Okay. You can select the colors that you would like to see because even the manual scale use a color shading between yellow to orange, red, green, and blue. But let's say that you're not happy with the automatic coloring that Maxi offers. You can create your own palette using your own colors, okay? And you can change the color. You know? If you're not happy about blue, you can select another color here, maybe some pink. Click on OK, and you see that you have another pink color that has been added. And you can play with these sliders as well to adjust the coloring on your chart. Okay, so that's a pretty nice way to customize your bathymetric database, your bottom database. All right, and again, when you are happy with your custom palette, your discrete palette, you can save that into a preset. And I will record that preset and call it maybe discrete palette. Click on OK. Here you have two presets created, depth shading, OK, and discrete palette. So very simply, you can find those presets. Now we'll go back to this and I will play with other parameters. Okay, I would like to, let's say that you would like to add some, because you see that I have some icons here. Let's say that I would like to add some contour lines on the bottom chart. You can click on this contour line button and you see that very simply by just clicking on the bottom, I'm adding contour lines to my bottom chart. If I right click, I can actually adjust the settings of my contour line. So if I'm not happy with the density, I can change the density from very low. You see that I have removed some contour lines to very high. Of course, this is too much information, but you know, you can just adjust your settings and you can see in real time how this will look in TimeZero. And fishermen usually they like the manual also contour line settings because it allows you to actually parameter what's the interval between each contour lines. Okay, from 0.2 meter to 0.5, 1 meter between each contour lines, 2 meter between each contour lines. Okay. Click on OK. And let's say you are happy with these settings. Again, you like how the contour lines looks. You like how it makes your fishing spot, appear. You can, again, save this into a preset. I will do it for the last time. I will call this one contour lines. OK. I close. And now you understand I have 3 different presets. My depth shading preset, all right, only depth information, my discrete palette, my customized palette, and my contour lines preset. Do you have any question at this stage, or is it clear for everybody what's PBG and how it's handled in TimeZero? Okay, if you don't stop me, then I continue. We have a nice tool as well that you can use with TimeZero related to bottom information, I would say, is a profile window. Profile window is pretty nice. It allows you, if you select this tool here on the toolbar, this is called the divider, you can draw a line between point A and point B, okay? And this line, if you click, actually double click on the line, automatically you will have a divider profile, a profile window that will appear. And that profile window will tell you what's the depth information, you know, across this line. All right. So you can just move the cursor on the window, and I don't know if you can see on the chart at the same time, I have my cursor that is also moving. So you have your position here, you have the depth information here, and you can very simply see what would be the bottom profile at a specific line. So very interesting when you go on your fishing trip. That's a very powerful tool as well. And I would like to finish this chapter of PBG with a 3D cube, okay? Because this also a workspace that is unlocked when you purchase the PBG module, and that allows you to very, very simply in 3D see your bottom information. So it has been designed to make it very easy for the user to go across your data and see exactly, you can zoom in and see exactly how this looks. So I hope this looks nice on Teams. I hope that you can see how the database is very has high resolution database, and it looks really, really nice. And again, here I would like to show you the difference between the user database, okay, the one that has been created with the Sounder, and TimeZero standard chart database. So if I take off the user database, this is how the chart looks like. Okay, so again, yeah, it's at least there is some data, you know, it's not nothing, but for sure, when I add the database from the fisherman, it looks much, much more better. No, one last thing before I finish, I close the PBG chapter, is we have created a very nice tool to make it easy to clean your database in case there is some errors, or the Sounders does not record really well at some point, or you can see the database is corrupted for some reason. We have created a very nice tool that allows the user to automatically clean its database. And for that, allow me to import I will import a new database. Have imported the database. Normally it should be somewhere here. Yes, this is the database that I wanted to show you. So I will take off the, no, I'll leave it like this. So this database, you can see very easily that it has some red points here. You know, these red points doesn't look really, really good. It looks like these points are errors, you know, sounding errors. And also one way to simply see that is that I am in an automatic scale. So normally I should see on my screen colors from red to blue, but I should see also some yellow, I should see some orange, I should see some green. But because I have these, you know, red dots here, my color palette doesn't look really, really nice. So we have designed a tool that is called AutoClean, and that will allow you to clean your 3D database. So allow me to select that tool now, you see that when I select the tool, there is a window that will open and that will tell you that TimeZero will scan the database automatically and will remove the points that are considered by TimeZero as errors. Of course, it's always nice to back up the database before doing that in case you are not happy with the results, okay, in case you remove too much points. So you back up the database before doing that. And here you have the possibility to adjust the threshold detection from low, so it will remove very few points, to high, so it will remove more points. But I recommend to use the medium threshold detection, and I will push the start auto clean button. And you will see that when I start that button, TimeZero automatically, and you see it very well, it removes the red dots that are on my database. And I'm not doing anything, it's just doing it by itself. So that's a very powerful tool. You can stop this at any time, okay? So if you see that TimeZero is removing too many points, you can say, okay, I stop, I'm not happy. But you can also restart the process, and TimeZero again will restart and clean automatically your database. And it's telling you actually at the bottom, it's telling you, okay, TimeZero deleted 200 points, 385, and we will see at the end of the process how many points has been deleted. 436 points had been deleted. Now I can look again at my database. You see that it looks better. Okay, so you can see some color shading, you can see some orange, you can see some green, you can see some blue, but it's not perfect yet. So, don't hesitate to run it again. Okay, so I back up, I start my auto clean, and TimeZero will do again the process. Maybe in the first process it missed some points. Okay, so I can run again the process on my database, and you will see after that that the database will look even better. So here I've deleted 88 points on my second passing, and you see that now the database, the color shading is really, really nice. I can do it a third time, but you understand my point. And you see that now I have a database that looks so much better. I have removed all the red points, and I'm displaying a nice, PBG database. Is it clear here for everyone? Any question on the PBG? Because I'm done on that chapter. Okay, let's move on. A big chapter now I would like to open is weather on TimeZero and oceanography. Last week when we discussed to target the fishing market in Asia and also start heavily with Taiwan. And in Taiwan, something that is pretty big is the use of oceanography information in order to detect good fishing zones. And in TimeZero, you have the possibility to download some weather file. Okay, so you have an update workspace here at the very top that will allow you to download weather information and also oceanographic data that is useful for the fishermen. So this is all the data that we have available. We have wind, temperature, cloud, pressure, wave information. But we also have, and allow me to focus a little bit more on that for this presentation because we are targeting the fishermen, we have oceanographic information. What is this? Oceanographic information is some data that we make available, like the temperature, sea surface temperature, the sea surface height, which is the altimetry, the chlorophyll, which is the plankton concentration, the temperature of the water, multi-layer. It means that we have this data available at multi depths, the current, the thermocline, the shear. We have a lot of data that is interesting for the fishermen to be able to identify zones, areas that are supposed to be full of fish. And how does that work? First of all, you select the layer, the layer of the data you would like to download. Are you fishing in shallow water from 0 to 100 meters, medium from 0 to 300 meters, or zero or deep from 0 to 1000? And this is important to select because you see that data, the seawater temperature. If you select the deep layer, basically you will have information up to 1000 meters. Okay, so the temperature of the water up to 1000, down to 1000 meters, sorry. And then you can select how many days you would like to download the data. So it's oceanography, but it also forecast information. So you download the data with an internet connection, of course, and then you can have the data loaded in time zero for 10 days, and you don't need to have any internet to display the data. Okay, you have downloaded it, it's yours, it's within the system. Then you can click on download here, and you will download that weather file. Of course, I downloaded a file before starting the presentation, so allow me to jump to the Oceano workspace to show you how to, before that, before going to the Oceano workspace, I would like to show you that I have downloaded some weather file, okay? And TimeZero has worked a lot on its weather file rendering. Now it looks like this, so we use a particle animated file, so the weather file is dynamic, okay? So here I'm displaying wind information, okay? So you can see how the wind information is displayed on time zero. At the bottom, you have a timeline. Okay, so this is today at 9:52 in the morning for us. And you can actually play that timeline, okay? And you will see how the weather will evolve in time, okay? So that's really nice. Remember, for the weather, you can download up to 15 days, okay? Oceanography, 10 days, but weather, 15 days. And here, I have 15 days of data. I can play on the timeline to plan my trip and to see what will be the weather condition. And I have different type of data, wind, wave. So this is wave information. You see it looks really nice. And again, you can play with a forecast. You have pressure, cloud and rain, currents. Currents is also looks really nice. You can have the information about the current trend in the area you go fishing. So this is very interesting when you plan a fishing trip. And again, you can play that data and see how the weather condition will evolve in time. So this is for the weather. Now allow me to focus a little bit more on the Oceano. So Oceano is very important for the fishermen. Let me explain to you how they can use it. You can add different type of layers to display the data. You remember I have a lot of data available, but of course you're not going to display everything at the same time. You will select what data is important to you important to your type of fishing and important to the season. Okay, and you have different way of displaying the data. So let's say I would like to start with one data that is very, very important for the fisherman is the altimetry. So I click on OK. Altimetry is a phenomenon. Basically, you know that the oceans, they are not flat. Okay, you have cold water, you have hot water, and normally cold water is more dense, more nutrient rich, and goes down, and the hot water that is less dense goes up. Okay, and basically the fish likes to feed in the cold water that is more nutrient rich because it's more dense, but it doesn't like to swim in the cold water. It likes to swim in the hot water. Okay, so by studying this altimetry data, what we would like to focus on is the areas in between that cold water and that hot water, because the fish is always going to go back and forth, swim in the hot water, feed in the cold water. So this is the study of the altimetry. And in time zero, we make this data available to the fishermen. So allow me to show you a little bit how you can use this data. So you have your altimetry here. You see the file is pretty big. And here it's not easy to understand how to interpret the data. But what you would like to do is you would like to adjust your minimum value, okay, here, and try to find areas some areas where you will see red hot water and blue cold water, very thin areas between blue and red water. Basically, these areas are called frontal zone, frontal area. The fish, like I said, is feeding in the blue and swimming in the red. So it's always going to go back and forth, back and forth. So you would like to identify these areas first, because they are possibly good areas for the fishing. So you can use this color palette to do that, but you might tell me, okay, Ferhat, it's a little bit too advanced. It's a little bit complicated to our fishermen. So what we have done is we have created a very easy way to display that altimetry using the front information. Front information will automatically display those frontal values. And I select front and altimetry here. When I click on OK, you see that, let me take off the color. You see that this front area gives you information about where are the frontal zone between hot and cold water. Okay, by just selecting one data, and you can adjust this slider as well to make it smaller or bigger. I made it very, very small to try to be as precise as possible. And if I put again the color, you see it here. You see these areas that we identified before, the thin areas between blue and red. Well, it's exactly the same data that is displayed by the front zone, the front value. Okay. I hope this is clear for everybody. So now I will take away the color and I will only leave that that front layer. The nice thing about this is you can add data, add more data. So here I only focus on the altimetry, but you can say, okay, altimetry is not the only phenomenon. Temperature of the water is important as well. So you can select color shading again, and you can say, okay, I want to focus on the temperature of the water, not only the temperature at the surface, but also the temperature at the bottom. I click on OK, and I have a second file. So allow me to take off the first file, okay, so to not make it complicated. So now only focus on the temperature of the water. So I have, again, a depth shading with temperature of the water going from 16 degrees to 32 degrees. This is the automatic scale. But what you would like to do with the water temperature is, first of all, you select what depth you would like to display the data. Okay, so here I'm displaying the temperature at 0.5 meter, but let's say I'm fishing at 300 meter. I select this value, 300 meter, and here what I'm displaying now is the temperature of the water at 318 meter. And you see that automatically my minimum and maximum value are much more different. The water is colder at this temperature. So the minimum is 4.8 and the maximum 23.9. And then what you would like to do is maybe select the manual scale. So here I have actually not too much information. I will auto value, maybe a manual scale, and select your own. I will go back to my 300 meters. You will select your own minimum and maximum value. Okay, let's say that you know that for this specific fish, the tuna, for example, I'm just saying a random data, random value, but let's say for tuna fishing, you know that the optimum temperature should be between 15 degree at 300 meter again, 15 degree and 18 degree. So you will select a minimum and maximum value. And you see that automatically time0 is now only displaying values, color between 15 and 18 degrees. Okay. So let's say that now you are happy with that file. You can take off the color, put it in footprint. And here what I would like to do is also display, mix the altimetry data and the temperature. Okay, so what I would like to identify is area where both files are combined. Because if I'm happy with my altimetry frontal zone, if I'm happy with the temperature of the water, then I'm identifying an area that should be interesting for my fishing. So this area, for example, and actually I can also select footprint. No, I will leave it with the frontal zone. It's better. So this area here, you know, in blue, mix with the nice temperature of the water that I've identified. And when I put the cursor here, you see on the right side, you know, my slider, it's telling me the exact temperature. So it's 16.8 degree in a nice frontal zone. So I know that this area potentially, you know, again, it's not exact science. Okay, it's just data that we make available to allow you to study before going on a fishing trip. But this saves you a lot of time and fuel because you can identify without going on the area. You can identify potential areas, which is really nice. And again, you understand the concept. On top of that, and first I will remove this data, but on top of that, you can add a third layer. Okay, let's say you want to add current information. So you select the current data. Maybe you want to display the current in arrow. Okay, it's easy to understand. So you have your current information. You can change the color of your current. You can adjust the density of your arrow. You can adjust the size. So basically you can do anything, you know, to parameter your data. And here you will also put this information. So not only you have the frontal zone, you have the temperature of the water, but you have also the current information, what's the direction of the current, and also what's the strength of the current, because the bigger the arrow is, the strengther the current is. So you see that this is very valuable, you know, for the fisherman to know all this data before going on a trip. And just allow me to finish with the last file. You can add on top of that, maybe using particle animated, you know, like the weather information. You can use wind information on top of that, and you have a file with the wind data. So you can see that my screen is pretty clean. You know, I can understand just by a few coloring my fishing areas. Okay. Any question about this Oceano?
Sorry, so I just would like, sorry, excuse me, to interrupt very quickly. Yes. I think pricing information is very important to mention, you know. So just, yeah, if you can go ahead with that, I think it's important.
Okay. Yeah, sure, no problem. So the Oceano is an additional module, okay? And it works a little bit, but actually when we first started, it was maybe a little bit complicated for the customer to understand because we wanted to sell it as a yearly contract. But what we've done to make it more easy for them, because we understand that they sometimes they only fish 2-3 months per year, we made it very easy, and now we are selling this module month by month. Okay, so if you need to unlock this feature for only 1 month, you can purchase that 1 month. It costs 250 euro retail price. Of course, as a Furino distributor, you have a discount on that. And then a customer can purchase the amount of the number of months that he needs. You know, if he needs 7 months, you can purchase 7 months. Months has to be consecutive though. Okay, you cannot ask us to stop 1 month and start the months after that. It has always has to be consecutive months.
And so if we compare it to competition, so the number one on this market nowadays is CatSat, which is also developed by a French company. CatSat in Taiwan is sold 24,000 euros per year, so 2,000 euros per month.
Per month, correct.
And we are selling it 250 euros a month, so almost 10 times lower. So this is why we believe Taiwan could be a great area to start promoting this product.
And actually, we already started, Ashida. We started to promote this product, and we have some good results. We're already selling this concept. I have actually visited Taiwan 2 times to promote this Oceano. At the time, the product was not as mature as it is today. Okay, so now we have the perfect product. It means that, you know, any question that they ask me, yes, we have it. Okay, we have it available, but the potential is huge. Okay, and today we are touching, you know, less than 1% of the fleet that we should be able to touch. Okay, so we really want to push TimeZero with this Oceano, and the added value that we have is not only the price, is also that we are Oceano provider, but we are also a software, a navigation software. Okay, and we combine everything in one screen. I'm curious to know if you had already seen that, Ashida or the other participant, if you had already seen this Oceano on TimeZero, or is it the first time you see it?
For me personally, I have seen it many times before, and probably Higashiyama-san also has seen it. The rest of the people may not, as far as I am concerned. And apparently, this is one of the strongest features that we can push. One question you
Yes.
mentioned about CatSat.
Yes.
For example, talking about Taiwanese market, do you have any ideas how many licenses they have sold so far in Taiwan?
Look, I don't have any number in mind, and it's complicated to
Okay.
get that information. But
Sure.
I can tell you that almost every fishing company that I visited in Taiwan, they were using CatSat.
Oh, really? Oh,
So-
okay.
So
Yes,
it's
and
they
just
have
for
an
your
office. Yes, they have an
Yeah,
office in Kaohsiung.
exactly.
You know, they have put, I think they have 2 or 3 people there. They do some training. They do the installation. So they have focused a lot on this feature, and they if they have an office there, it's probably they have big numbers. You know.
Also, their own office from CatSat or their agent in Taiwan?
I would say it's their own office from CatSat.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
With their own people.
Employed
Okay.
people. It's huge for them,
Oh.
and because they were the only one in the market and they started very early. I don't know. I don't have the date when they started, but they did what they wanted with the price. You know, imagine 2,000 euro per month. That's crazy. You know, we sell it 10 times cheaper. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so that was a, a big subject also, the Oceano. I would like to finish with the integration of the hardware. Okay, so, you know, we talked about TimeZero as a fishing plotter. We talked about TimeZero as an easy user interface, the weather, the Oceano. But also it's important to mention why TimeZero is popular among the Furuno national distributor worldwide is because we can integrate a lot of their hardware, you know, and they sell it, TimeZero, bundled with a radar, bundled with an EcoSounder, DFF3D, all this hardware. So the first integration I would like to talk about is the, I would say, simple one, but is the AIS. Okay, so TimeZero, of course, integrate with any type of AIS. You know, NMEA 083, you can have AIS integrated, and this is how an AIS target will look like in TimeZero. Okay, by just putting the mouse on that target, you can have basic information about the target, the name, the position, COG, SOG, CPA, TCPA. If I double click, I have more information on the target, okay, MMSI number and voyage information. I can change the color of the target if I want to see it differently. So all this, of course, available on TimeZero. A list of targets are also available, and they are available in the nav data first. Okay, so you can take the AIS list. Okay, and the AIS list is very nicely designed. So you see that this one that I have selected, Volga 24, is highlighted in the list. Okay, but you can select another one, and TimeZero will automatically look for that vessel, look for that AIS target, and I can go on for all the targets that are received by the AIS receiver. Okay, so this is already one nice way to find your AIS targets. You also have AIS list, okay, on the ribbon. You remember you have a lot of icons. Here you have all the list available, and the list will list all the object, the marks, the routes, the photos, the boundaries, and the AIS. So if I go to the AIS list, I will have here at the bottom a table with all the AIS information, all the information, and I can very easily, again, select one AIS or the other, and you can see that Time Bureau smartly will follow the AISs. We'll look for the AISs. So this is for the AIS, I would say. Then we have the radar integration. Radar integration, here I don't see it very well because my demo already departed, but you have, and actually I will, you know what, I will start again the file so you can see how it looks. So I turn off Time Zero, I use a demo file, okay, I'll turn on again, and you will see how the radar is integrated. You probably already know that, but it's nice to do a small recap because it's, I think it's important, and this is why we have some FNDs, a distributor that sold the PC radar concept a lot. And I'm thinking about Sweden, for example. Steen, he has pushed a lot for this concept where you connect your computer to the radar scanner, and you don't have any radar monitor, but just by plugging your Ethernet cable, you have the possibility to have your radar on Time Zero. So going to the radar workspace, I will have a full radar screen. Okay, so full radar screen. This is
sorry, Ferhat, you are not sharing your screen anymore. You should share it again.
Sorry. Okay. Can you see it now? Yes, I think you can see it. Here, by going to the radar workspace, okay, I have a full radar screen. All right, and this radar, I can adjust the settings. I can zoom in, zoom out, the range in, range out. I can, I have all here the nav data from the radar. I can adjust the gain, the C, the range. So basically, I can do, from Time Zero, control my Furuno radar. And this is something that is very powerful. We have to remember that this compatibility, we only offer it with Furuno radar. Okay, so Furuno Ethernet radar, so the far range and the DRS range. And this is unique in the market. Okay, nobody else has this type of partnership between a software company and a radar company. Nobody else offer this type of integration. So we should not forget that we are a strong company because we work together and we have these advanced compatibilities with Furuno hardware. And we always push for that when we do Time Zero presentation. So proper radar workspace. If I go back to my navigation, I also have the possibility, and here it's already overlaid, but you see, I can overlay the radar picture on my chart. And you see this, it looks really, really nice. When you have the Time Zero chart engine and the radar picture at the same time, this looks really, really nice and is really useful for the user. So again, we're compatible with the far range and DRS range. Okay. Another integration that is also interesting is the sounder integration. Okay. So again, this you need for the radar, the integration is standard. Okay, with Time Zero Professional, it means you don't need to have any particular module. Okay, but for the sounder, you need to have additional module, a sounder module that you purchase with Time Zero, and that will allow you to, like this, offer a proper sounder window. Okay, so basically you have, when you're going to the sounder workspace, you will have, and here I think because I'm still in the port, I don't have any good sounder image, but it will come a little bit later. You will have an exact replica of what is seen on the Furuno sounder. Okay, so we are compatible with Furuno Ethernet sounder. So DFF1, DFF1 UHD, DFF 3D, but it's a little bit different, BBDS1, FCV 1150. With all this Ethernet sounder, you have the possibility to have this sounder picture integrated. And something that I like to show as well, even if I'm sorry here, I don't have the sounder image showing yet because I'm still in the port. But a good thing is that if you create a mark here, maybe I don't. Yeah, okay. So now I'm start to see some stuff. The nice thing, you know, when with this sounder and chart screen is first of all, and I did not mention this at the beginning of the presentation, but you can split the screen the way you want. Okay, so you can put a chart on the left side, sounder on the right side, or radar or a camera, or you can actually customize the way you want it to look in time zero. And basically, when you create a mark on the sounder picture, the nice thing is that it's geo-referenced. You see that that mark that is on my sounder here, you know, first of all, I can go back in time, which is pretty powerful. Okay, I can go back and see all the marks that I have created, but also the mark that I have created is now here on the chart. So if you spot some fish or school of fish on your sounder image, it's extremely powerful to be able to create a mark and have it stored on your chart. Okay, that's a really, really nice feature. Any question on that, radar or sounder?
Can I ask one question? I have one
Yes.
question. What
Yes.
about the sonar integration? Sonar integration can be almost the same, like sounder.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes. So
sonar and the chart.
yes. So
Yes.
sonar integration is something that we have developed. Okay, so we have the sounder integration possibility, but it's only available with FSV 25. Okay?
Yes.
So only with this
I want to
sonar.
know the operation, how the sonar echo will be integrated onto your Mac-C.
Okay, allow me. I'll try to find. I think probably have a.
If you can show us a demonstration.
Yeah, I have here a demo file. So again, I need to change the demo file. So allow me to, you know, turn off time zero, and I will turn it on with the sonar file. The thing is, with the sonar integration is it's not working yet, and it's not working with the current version of the FSV 25. The last information we got from Furuno is that they have done some testing with the FSV Mark II sonar, and this is working, but the FSV Mark II is only planned to be released, I believe, in April or May or next year. So until then, this sonar integration is not working on time zero. So I will add the sonar module.
And again, Ferhat, you have to share again your screen.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Yeah, I believe you can see it now. So the same way, the same type of integration we have with the radar or the sounder, we have a proper sonar workspace. Of course, you need a module for that. Okay, you have to pay for an additional module. When you have this module unlocked, you have this sonar workspace that will appear. All right, and you'll be able to display the sonar image directly on time zero. You know, here. You can also go to your navigation and overlay the sonar picture directly on the chart. So that's again extremely powerful. And we are actually very excited for that. I am in contact with Bruce from UK and Steen from Sweden. they have sold this concept to many customers, and probably the day it will be available on TimeZero, we'll have a lot of sales for this integration, because it's really, really nice. And again, it's unique in the market. Nobody has that type of integration.
And again, a couple of things to mention. Sorry, a couple of things to mention. You can play at the bottom right. You can play with the tilt and the range. You can transmit or stop transmission from the software. If you can see the window on bottom right in the Sonar workspace here. And then something very nice as well is that you can duplicate the screen with one on the chart to the left and the Sonar to the right. And the Sonar is also georeferenced. So if you mark something on the Sonar itself, it will mark on the charts. So same as what we did, with the sounder previously.
Was that okay for you?
What was a 3D presentation? Do you have any plans to implement?
For the Sonar, you mean?
Yes. FSBase 25 3D.
No, there is no plan for the moment.
But in the future, you have any idea to implement 3D?
We have a lot of ideas, but not a lot of resources. So right now, we're going to start with this. And you already have, the 3D presentation with the FCV25. So we believe that this is a nice complement to what you already have, but we don't want to replace your 3D Sonar, you know what I mean? So, and right now we have other projects going on, so there is no short-term plan to do 3D presentation on the Sonar.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay, so Sonar, and last integration that I would like to show you, and again, I'm sorry, we don't have a...
Sorry, I have
yes.
I also have a question about that Sonar integration.
Yes.
You explained us that we can overlay this Sonar display on the navigation mode.
Yes.
So is that also possible to overlay radar display also on this navigation?
Yes.
Together with Sonar?
Yes, we don't see it here well because there is no target, but you can at the same here, because you're navigating, so you don't see the radar picture, but maybe you can see some, no, but you can overlay, and Fred, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you can overlay both radar and Sonar.
Okay, thank you.
So I don't know if you can do it at the same time, but you can easily switch from one to another one.
Oh, okay. So I probably
and actually there is, it would be a mess, to have both Sonar and radar. So the best way is maybe to display to have two screens connected to the same computer, one with the radar and then the other one with the Sonar, because you can connect up to 3 screens to the same computer with TZ Professional, and you can display, for example, chart with Sonar, radar, and you can do whatever you want, but not at the same time. To us, there is no point to overlay both Sonar and radar at the same time.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I just remember that some vessels are looking for birds by a radar, and at the same time they fish full by Sonar. So I just thought it would be pretty interesting if they can see all together on the same display. I mean that navigation mode, but it's okay.
Okay. So now here I'm opening up because I would like to show you a last integration that is nice. Please tell me if you can see
one question.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Related to the bird radar and the bird detection, I just wondered if MAX-C has any own algorithm to present the bird detecting and echo image on MAX-C, like you developed and have own algorithm for alpha target tracking, for example. Do you have your own features related to the bird detection?
So at the moment, no. We
Okay.
don't have anything related to bird detection.
Okay, so just
in-
presenting the radar echo.
Yeah, it's presenting the radar echo
Okay.
and the target. You know, when the target is picked up by the radar, even if it's a bird, you know, you will be able to see it on time zero. But there is no specific features developed in time
Because
zero for that.
what about you within Furuno radars? Do you have any target? I mean, with regards to bird detection, do you have any specific features?
Well, it is there is a bird mode, but that is how you specifically detect the birds, and it is the detection algorithm that the machine itself adjusts the gain setting and TVG settings and etc. together with the echo stretch and the echo trail, so that it will present as the best way to detect the birds.
Okay.
And but that is the feature already implemented on our radar. So
Okay, and so we do
the,
not have anything special, specific to this.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, so the last hardware that I would like to talk about is the integration with the multi-beam sounder. You know, this is very important as well. So we have, of course, we offer the integration with DFF3D, and the integration with WASP, and we are able to display at the same time, you know, the section from, this is the DFF3D, and the section from the DFF3D water column. That is pretty nice because you can see some fish target, you know, here, fish bubbles, the echo sounder, you know, and with the three separated in 3 view, 1, 2, and 3. And this is a side scan, it's a different type of view for the bottom. And we're able to display this 4 screen because, like I told you, you can configure your workspace here by clicking on the plus button, basically the way you want. Okay, so you can say, okay, I want to split the screen in 4, you know, and basically you can add a sounder, you can add, maybe, I will do it again, maybe a multi-sounder, maybe your chart, your 3D, and a water column. Okay, so you can create this custom workspace. You can edit the name. Okay, so you are sure that this is Ferrat, for example. So this is my workspace, and each of the 4 screens are independent. You can zoom in, you can zoom out. You just have to click, and you can specifically work on one of the screens. So again, time zero, fully customizable and easy to use and understand. Okay, so it's an hour and a half of the presentation. This is what I wanted to show you today. Okay, so I wanted to focus on 4 specific points. First of all, time zero is not a complicated software. Okay, even for low education fishermen, it's a very intuitive system. The second point was easy to use the database, to manage the database with the layers and the filters. The third point was the PBG data, you know, the PBG information, how to manage it, how to display it, how to parameter it. And the fourth point was the integration with the hardware. And sorry, another point is the Oceano and the weather. But the integration with Furuno hardware for me was also really important to show you today, because this is what made the success of Time Zero Professional. So, of course, there is much more we can talk about, okay? But I did not want at my first presentation to show you more things in more details, but I am always available to focus on a specific point. If you want later on, you can contact me, you can tell me, Ferrat, this Oceano is interesting. Can we schedule a 1-hour session with maybe a subsidiary in Indonesia or in Malaysia, in Taiwan? So I really appreciate if you can come back to me with some feedback on that presentation. What was interesting for you? What do you think we can push in which market, and how we can move forward?
Ferrat, I have a couple of questions
Yes.
related to weather and oceanographic information.
Yes.
First of all, how long does it take to download the complete information, for example, weather? And the oceanographic for 15 days, for example?
That's a really good question, and actually it depends on the area. It depends on many
Okay.
factors. What is the how big
Mhm.
is the area? You see the area I've downloaded here, it's huge. Okay, it's almost all the Pacific Ocean. It's a very big area. Depends on the number of data that you like to display. You don't need to download everything. You need to focus on just specific data and information. It depends on how deep is the layer. Surface layer, of course, the data will be smaller, and where the deep layer, because it's information at every depth position, the data will be bigger. But for your information, and don't take this as a standard use from the customer, but this big file that I've downloaded with 15 days forecast for the Meteo, 10 days forecast for the Oceano, 1000 meter deep, all the data, okay, all the data has been downloaded, full resolution here. This is 1 gigabyte, okay, and you might tell me it's big, but nobody download a file as big on the vessel. Okay, so you download this when you have internet connection, but you see, the nice thing is when you make the file smaller, you see that automatically the size of my file, the estimated size, gets smaller as well. So you know how big the file will be. Okay, so if I make a small, and if I download a small area here, okay, if I say, okay, I don't want 10 days, but I only want data for today, the file is now 3.5 megabyte. Okay.
Okay, I understand. So it shows the size of the data.
It shows the size of the
Okay,
estimated size of the
estimated
file
size
that
of the data, and then
correct.
you configure what the data you want and how long, and so on, and then you will estimate how
Exactly.
the size of the
Exactly.
data.
And so
Okay.
for your information, the average, for multiple days is 2 megs approximately. We worked a lot on the compression format. And so today with 2 megs, you can have multiple days. You can have a nice fishing area, for purseaners, for big tuna purseaners. So 2 megs is enough. And we are pretty similar to what CatSat does as of today.
Another question related to this information. Do they, as far as I understand, they download the information on land and they make a plan for fishing?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
It depends. It depends. Today we also equip, boats with VSAT or any type of satellite communications, and they can use it. They can download while fishing.
Yeah,
Sure.
because in Taiwan, for example, Ashida, they go for 2 years, on the fishing field. They go for 1 year on the fishing field. So they have unlimited satellite communication. So they don't care about the size of the data. Of course, the file needs to be small for the time of downloading, but they don't care about how much it costs because it's unlimited. So they go and they can download the file every day, basically.
Yeah. So, well, as far as they have the communication tool on board, and that is usually happening for those customers who are, quite wealthy and catching well and doing well. But do you also, as far as you have the information also about competitors, what they are doing, do you know if any fishing company has this either CatSat system or your system in the office only and get the information analyzed and distribute it to the captains prior to the fishing, so that the individual fish doesn't have these licenses, but only the office and operating office has the information and manage?
I believe, Fred, you equipped one office
Yes.
license for a fleet in Peru.
For example, in Peru, we did that. So it's a fleet made of 50 boats, and they purchased one subscription for the office. And what they are doing, they are, analyzing it from the office and sharing the best fishing spots with the boat.
Okay. Do you know if they have also such a scheme in CatSat?
Yeah, of course you can do. I mean,
Okay.
then it's a matter of subscription. If you want to get one subscription from the office, you can do it. But in some cases, I mean, I believe in Taiwan, they equip all of the boats with specific licenses and subscription. Each boat has its own subscription.
Yes,
Okay,
in Taiwan, that's the case. And some boats, they have even two type of software. I think CatSat and I don't remember the name of
Orbimage.
Yeah, Orbimage. Because
and the same in Spain, you know, the tuna vessels, each tuna vessel has its own subscription. But we are talking about big boats, you know.
yes,
In countries with limited resources or less investment, they can also purchase one license, one subscription from land. You know, so
Yeah,
it's really up to the customer to do it.
Of course, yes. And we are talking about, how we enter the market where the customer do not have money. That is why I am thinking of any possibility using the capability of what you can offer, but not expecting something, we are doing in Europe or.
And I understand. And so Peru, for example, is a nice example because this is a country with a limited investment level, and this is why they decided to purchase the subscription from land, from the office.
Okay, thank you. That's all from me.
So we talked a lot about Taiwan, but one big market for this Oceano is also South Korea. I visited some vessels also, and they have CatSat, all of them. But as of today, we're not touching any boats. We have
if we talk about CatSat, they have also big market in Indonesia, and they have also big market in Indonesia. Some of the.
But in Indonesia, they sold the VMS system, so that's why they have an office. So that's just about what they sold. They sold a country level project with VMS, but they do not equip vessels in Indonesia, I believe.
No, and probably they do not offer the oceanographic information. That's the VMS.
Yeah, VMS only.
Yeah, when Fernando Ferro was working for them.
Ah, really? Okay. Fernando Ferro is everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a side conversation, yes.
Yeah.
Say it again.
So allow me to share a very recent experience I had. Yesterday, I went on board a boat north of Barcelona. It was a very small boat, and I'd like to share it with you very briefly because Time Zero is not only for big vessels, okay? So allow me to share my screen very briefly, and I'd like to show you the type of boat we equipped in Europe, okay? So this is a 8-meter boat. As you can see, a very small boat, fishing with nets, not high education captain, okay? A tiny workspace here, but look, he just installed, he used to have only a Garmin plotter, okay? And he was telling me, every time I have to set the net in the new area, I have to delete my old tracks because there is a limited capacity, memory capacity in the Garmin. Now he's very, very happy because he can filter with layers and everything, and he can record all of his tracks with no limit. He's using a FCV 1150, and that's it, So just to show you that even small boats, low education captain, this guy never touched a computer before this one, and he's now very, very happy with TZ Professional. And again, this boat fish with nets, okay? He's alone on the boat, and it has been a really game changer for him to use TZ Professional on board of this boat. So this was just an input I got from yesterday, and I wanted to share it with you because I believe this is the type of boat we could target in Asian countries.
Okay, thanks for sharing.
Is there anything else you would like us to cover? Do you have any questions or?
Yes. I have one question about the CatSat. I heard from Japanese skipper of Japanese user of CatSat. They say that mid-water temperature is very important, so they chose CatSat. But as you explained in MAX-C, it can show not only surface temperature but mid-water, deep water, right?
Correct. Up to 1,000. Sorry, down to 1,000 meter.
Down to 1,000 meter.
Exactly.
So there is not so much difference between CatSat and MAC-C in terms of technically.
Zero difference today.
Exactly.
And much less expensive than
Yes.
CatSat.
And CatSat only provides you with 1 day information, okay, for the altimetry and everything. You do not have forecasts. In time zero, as you saw, you can have multiple days of forecast. So I would say even time zero is even more powerful than CatSat nowadays. So we just need to promote it, to make it available to customers and for them to test it. So by the way, if you have captains who are interested in testing it, we are okay to provide you with free trial period of time. Okay, so they can install it, they can play for it for free, and compare it with CatSat.
I don't know if there are customers who use both CatSat and MAC-C. I don't know what majority of the customers choose one, CatSat or MAC-C, right?
But the thing is, CatSat is not a navigation tool.
Yes,
CatSat
I know.
is only a weather provider, you know. So MAC-C, the good thing is you navigate, you integrate hardware, you get the weather information and the Oceano, and then you have in one computer or one screen, you have it all, you know. So even the customer that has CatSat, he must have some kind of navigation, either a plotter or navigation software.
Okay. Thank you very much. Another question. If you want to promote MAC-C to the Asian country, the important thing is countermeasure of a pilot model to avoid copy of license. Have you?
Yeah. Yes,
do you
sure.
have any?
I mean, of course, as a software company, we have some, problems.
Yes, because I saw many pilot model in Spain regulatory.
Yeah, sure. But we try every time we release a version, we try to protect it more, and but this is something that it's not easy to avoid, even if we're trying to chase it,
And so, just for your information, because I was in north of Catalonia this week, and I had to talk about this. And you know what we did? A specific thing. So after a while, using a pirated version, there is now an information window appearing. It disconnects GPS. It puts, a big pirated version on the chart, and people are kind of afraid. And so it's kind of decreasing a lot in Spain. For example, I went to Blanes and Palamos. You know these harbors. We used to have almost all of the fleet using pirated version, but now thanks to these disclaimers, we just have very, very few pirated products. And so just for your information as well, regarding the encryption of the software, we used to work with an external company, a third-party company called Cryptkey. And we decided for the next version of Time Zero to do our own encryption system. Okay, this means that we won't rely on this third-party company. And today, if we have been pirated, it's not because someone was targeting specifically Time Zero. It's because someone targeted the Cryptkey encryption, which is used by other software. You know what I mean? So we believe that having our own encryption will reduce also the level of piracy.
Plus, weather and Oceano is not available on pirated version, because you use a email address to connect and disconnect to our server, and if it's not linked to a legit license, it won't work.
I don't know if coastal fishing vessels also use Oceano. I don't know, because they go only 1 day of fishing. Do you know?
Yeah, so again, I went on board of a boat yesterday. They didn't know about weather information, and I showed them, and they were very happy, and they're going to start using it. I think it's just a matter of education and promotion. But there is potential, not for the Oceano here, but just for the free weather forecast we provide.
Okay, thank you.
Weather is important to everyone at sea.
But the weather information can be, they can get from internet or mobile phone. I think it's enough. I think for coastal fishing, I don't know. Yeah. So majority of people get the information free of charge.
And we do, right? We do the same within the software. You can, it's free of charge, and we do navigation, fishing, PBG plus free weather. So the key point is integration here. We
yeah. So to make it clear, the weather is free. The Oceano is a module. Okay, so wind, pressure, rain, this is all free. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Anything else? Okay. So I think I'm done. I don't know if you have.
Thank you very much,
have
Rehat.
no more question. Yeah, we'll close the meeting and I will send you the link of the presentation, the recording.
So
Okay.
when you send us the link of the recorded file, could you also list up the points you made during the presentation? Not details, but the bullet points that you have mentioned
Covered.
during the meeting, and what you want us to to remember, so that we can follow that information and go through the videos and play by ourselves. And also when we do the presentation or introduction of Maxi product to our own customers, we can follow basically the
plan.
The plan you just did during this meeting.
Yes,
that
no
will
problem.
be great.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
So what do you think, Ashida, should be the way to move forward now? So okay, I send you the link. You understand well the system. Then you want to discuss with the big. Yeah, please.
So probably we will need some time to digest the information and let us get familiar with the product and information provided. And there will be some additional questions. So probably individual person will contact you if needed to clarify some of the things as needed. And afterwards, as we discussed, we targeted the Taiwanese market first. So we will start contacting Taiwan, our distributor, Anshan Brothers, and start talking and get feedback and then keep you informed.
I think it would be nice also if we can, of course, after you digest the information, to organize a joint meeting with Anshan. You talk to them, of course, you try to involve them, but I believe for me also to have the right contact and to create some more relation with them. Maybe you can introduce, maybe you can be there with me, maybe we can discuss with Frederic, maybe. So I think we should, yeah. Okay.
If you would like to organize some online presentation with them or to them, or ask them to invite some of their customers, give us your plan and then we can organize, no problem at all.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yep. And about South Korean market, I already sent you the contact person. And since it is out of my responsibility, I can do what I can do is to provide you with that contact, and hope you have a good luck.
Yeah. So what do you I would like to have your personal feeling, even if it's not under your responsibility, because you understand the history. So Sheena was not interested, but it was 8 years ago or 7 years ago. Okay. At the time, maybe they thought it was not ready. The market was not ready. So we decided to go with a competitor, and they pushed Timezone very well in the market. So we are happy, but we are not touching, the base that we should be touching in South Korea. So we'd like to involve Sheena again. But what do you feel about? Are they ready? Are they okay? Will they? What can they bring? To us.
As far as I heard from the person in charge in the domestic market, their understanding at the Shinha side is that all the potential customers are already covered by Shinwon, is the company you work with.
Yes.
And I don't know if they see there is a market left for them to cover.
So how about local fishing? Because the Shinwon, they're touching only the big companies, But how about the local fishing market? So maybe you don't know, but all these boats, South Korea is huge.
Yeah, well, if you see in Europe as well, most of the subsidiaries are targeting the big customers, and lower you go, less activities you will see, and more competition you will see. And as far as I am concerned, and Frederic, you can agree with me that Spain is one of the exceptional that we are covering from big one to the small one, down to
France.
15 meters.
France as well.
Well, France is even better in this aspect.
No, well, but in terms of the sales of our Furuno products, if you see each country, the larger the vessel, more activities you will see, and less activities if you go down the size and the volume of the customers. So that is happening in any other countries, including Korea. So probably the bigger customers are covered and very well taken care. The mid-size to the smaller companies, of course, there is a market they are taken care of, but they may not be chasing the customers.
Yeah, that's my concern. You know, that's my concern, because adding China to the market today, if they, you know, not motivated to chase this type of customer, I don't really see the point. You know, so
we'll have to evaluate.
Yeah, we'll have to evaluate, and I will discuss this with the right person.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you for your insight.
Mm-hmm. No problem. So once again, thank you very much for your time and,
Sure.
and everybody participating in this meeting from FEC side and from Singapore, Matsuki-san. So let's keep in touch and we wait for the videos.
Videos, yes,
Link.
No problem.
Yep.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a
Okay.
good. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.